Good day, class. This moment will be examining another topic, electrical accessories. And then we also consider conductors and cables. Permit me to rearrange the topic so that I can start from conductors and cables. What is a conductor? A conductor is a material that allows easy flow of currents. In physics class, we use the word any material that allow easy flow of currents. So, conductor allow flows of currents. In electrical, we have different types of conductor, but there are three basic factors we consider that determine our conductor. In electrical, number one, a conductor must be cheap and readily available. Cheap in terms of cost and readily available. Number two, it must be flexible. It must be flexible. And three, it must be efficient in time of what? Conducting flow of currents. Conductivity. These three things. So, copper and aluminum are the two major conductors used in electrical installation. Why? Because they are cheap and readily available. Gold is a conductor. Silver is a conductor. But the problem is they are not cheap and not readily available. In fact, in terms of efficiency, they are better, but they are not cheap. That is why we make use of what? Copper and aluminum. So, what is a conductor now? Conductor is a material that allows easy flow of electricity. And with these three factors, we discover that copper and aluminum are the two major conductors we use in electrical installation. Now, they come in two major designs. Their design. Number one, the design of either copper or of copper. Let me start the design of copper. Number one, it can be flexible or annealed, which is solid. Flexible or annealed. These are the time. And where do we use copper and aluminum? Mostly for any indoor job or indoor electrical installation, we make use of copper. And for overhead system, we make use of aluminum. Why? Aluminum is lighter in weight. That is why it is mostly used for overhead wiring system. All the overhead systems that we see, they are aluminum. Sometimes they can be reinforced, yes, but it is still aluminum. But copper is heavier. That is why PVC is copper, underground cable are mostly copper. So that is where we have copper. Now, what is a cable? I've talked about conductor. What is a cable? A cable is a conductor with a mechanical protection. A cable is a conductor with a mechanical protection. So, a cable has this is a conductor, this insulator, and this mechanical protection. The conductor can be copper or aluminum. The insulator can be PVC, can be rubber. And then we have the mechanical protection, another insulator. So that's the definition for cable. A cable is a conductor with a mechanical protection. Now, selection of a cable is very important. Now this will take us to selection of cables. According to IEE, I'm going to give us selection based on IEE recommendation. From this table, we have the serial number. That is, we have cable, size, and cable size. We have fuse rating and load. Let me combine these three. Number one, cable size, 1.5 mm square cable, 5 amps, and mostly used for lighting circuits. 2, we have 2.5 mm square cable. 2.5, I'm talking about just a socket, 10 amp, 30 amp sockets. 3, because of time, the same 2.5 mm cable under 30 amps ring circuits. That is 30 amp sockets, ring circuits. I'm going to explain all this later. We have 4 mm square cable. For 4 mm square cable, we have 30 amps, that is 1 horsepower, AC circuits. AC. Let me not put 1, let me just put AC circuits. AC circuits. And then 5, we have 6 mm cable selection, another 30, That is cooker unit. In fact, the same 4 mm can also be used for water heater. For water heater. Now, these are the loads, and then please take note of what, when it comes to 10 mm to, okay, now that is number 6, 10 mm square to 16 mm square cable. Mostly, I'm talking about 80 to 200 amps fuse protection. We are talking about service cable. In service cable are cable that we use for power supply into any residence. Now, 10 mm to 16 mm cable, mostly for, I will not put rates in them. Well, let me just put 100 amps to 125 amps. These are always used for load cables. Load cables. Then, from 16 mm to sometimes 35, let me, for this level, 35 mm square. So we have from 100 amps to 200 amps, sometimes stroke 400 amps, protective devices, and they are used as service cable. Now, I want us to understand something. Now, in the cable, I did not mention the earth cable. Earth cable. Now, earth cable, any cable less than 35 mm, any cable less than 35 mm, make use of the same size of power input cable size. Earth cable, note, the formula is that any cable that is less than 35 mm square, you use the same size of cable for earth. And then, any cable that is above 35, earth cable again, above 35 mm, use divided by 2. So, this 35 divided by 2 will give us what? 2 here. 2 here, approximately this. 35 divide, that is 17.5 mm. And we don't have this size of cable. The nearest to it is this. From what? We have 16. From 16, we have 25. So you either use 16 or 25 mm. That is the implication. So 50 mm, we make use of 25 mm. So that is the formula for earthing. From this, cable are very key. So there are specific sizes of cable for specific job. Lightning, 1.5, 13, 2.5, ring socket, 2.5, AC line, 4 mm, cooker unit, 6 mm, and then your load from DB, distribution board, from the main power section to your distribution point load board. We call it load cable. So you make use of 10 mm or 60 mm depending on the size. And then the supply cable from 60 mm to 35 mm at this level. Although we have some big factory that will extend these sizes of cable as service cable. Now, the next thing, once you can select your cable for the job you want to use it for, then we move to what? Electrical accessory. The accessories. The accessories are not ladies' accessories where we talk about jewelry, chain. No, 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 no. We are talking about electrical accessories. Electrical accessories are devices that we use to make the utility of electricity simple, functional, and we enjoy the results of currents or the effects of currents. The electrical accessories that we are talking about something that we have all seen one way or the other, something that we are all familiar with. Let me start with the very common one. Number one, we talk about switches. The switch, we have different types. And let me just talk about one-way switch, one-way switch, and the second one is what we call two-way switch. Switch is what? Make and break contact device. Make and break contacts device. That is, what it does is either make the contacts or break it, which is commonly known as off and on. So 2, we have lamp holders, where we put our bulb. 3, we have socket outlets. I purposely use the word socket outlets because we have 13-amp sockets. The 13-amp sockets, square shape, and this earth, live, neutral. And the 15-amp sockets, round in shape, the same, live, earth, and neutral. Then we have, what do we have again? We have ceiling rows, just used as connector. Ceiling rows is a connector. Mostly we use it to connect lighting points and ceiling fan. We have fluorescent fitting. We have 6 fluorescent comes 2 feet, 4 feet, 6 feet, and 8 feet fluorescent. Sometimes in the olden days we have 5 feet fluorescent, but most common is 2 and 4 feet fluorescent. We have bulkhead fitting. Bulkhead fittings are mostly used as security fittings because it is covered, so they will not have access to the bulb that is inside. So it's part of electrical accessories. We also have bed switch, is part of the accessory under switch. I have 8. has ceiling mounts as part of accessory. Ceiling mounts special fittings that you mount directly on the fittings. Nowadays we have POP lights. All these POP, either sports, either design, chandelier, all these, they all fall under ceiling mounts fittings, including chandelier. They are all ceiling mount fittings. Then we have uh, we have our distribution board. Okay, before distribution board, we have under accessory cooker units. Cooker units is in power socket. It has a very big switch, and then beside it we have small switch with two lights. This is cooker, this is sockets. So we also have this for our cooker. This is where you connect your cooker, and this external socket can be used for any other thing. We have water heater switch as accessory, but I'm not going to write that. And above all, in all these accessory, you can see lampuda, switch, socket, ceiling rolls, bucket fittings, bed switch, ceiling mount fittings, chandelier, POP lights, anyone that you mentioned. The above all is the distribution board. Why is it that distribution board is also measured as electrical accessory? Because there is no place you are talking about electrical wiring system. Without this, you cannot distribute the circuits as per sub-final circuits. So the distribution board comes in single phase distribution board from 4 ways to 12 ways single phase. I'm going to explain better in practical class. Let me just give you simple diagram of distribution board 4-way. We have the fuse, then we also have the neutral, we also have the arts 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we have the main switch. These are the fuses: 5 amps lighting, 10 amp, 13 amp sockets, 30 amp AC, another 30 amp cooker. Now this for live, and this very one is the neutral. And why this is the earth cable. This is 4-way distribution board. We also have 3-phase distribution board as electrical accessory. Another name for distribution board is what we call consumer unit. Consumer unit. Let me draw 12 ways. One, two. Of course, I want to draw the neutral link so that it will contain it. Neutral link over here. Then the arts. This protective earth cable. This 93, 92, 91, and this neutral. Of course, so Line 1, the link, this is a bar, copper bar. This and this are together. 2, this and this together. And 3, this and this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I said 12 ways for 3 phase. Let me, it extends to, so like that we have 3 here, another 3 up to 12. We start from 12 ways to 54 ways. So talking about electrical accessory, another name for distribution board is consumer unit. So you can see from cable, what do we have? We talk about conductor, a material that allows easy flow of currents. And in electrical, which one do we make use of? We make use of the one that are cheap, readily available, efficient, and flexible. Aluminum and copper are the major conductors in electrical. Sometimes brass are used for accessory terminations. Then we have, they are not used for conductor. Brass are used for accessory terminations. Then we move to cable selection. Each cable comes with different sizes for specific purpose, which I've mentioned: 1.5, 2.5, 4 mm, 6 mm, then 10 mm to 60 mm. Copper mostly used for load. From them we have service cable, 60 mm to 35 mm, depending on the load capacity. Then we talk about what? Electrical accessory. Different things that we can find in our houses: the switches, the socket outlet, the ceiling rose, the fluorescent fitting, lamp holder, and then water heater switch, including our distribution board, single phase and 3 phase. All these things are very, very key. So the next class will help us in practical class. You will see in wiring system. We are going to start with surface wiring system, where you will see the arrangement of these accessories in connection with cables. So the cable arrangement, the termination is carried out, you will see it, and then the result, a point of light controlled by a switch, and that is how we do it. Each circuit will now be fed with some final circuits coming from the distribution board. So thank you.